worsened because of the collapse of the economy. So you have 100 million people living in poverty. You have high unemployment, the highest, I would say, in the world. It might not be highest in percentage, but highest in number. So the more you pull people out of poverty, the more you reduce the criminality. So as you're doing this, at the same time, you are engaging, strengthening your security architecture to be able to tackle the criminal aspect of it.
But there's also the transnational security threat. If you look at the West Africa sub-region, Burkina Faso is now the center of terrorism in the Sahel. Nigeria is part of the multinational joint task force. There's also the G5 Sahel. Is it time that we seek outside help? And what sort of help would we need when it comes to dealing with our security issues?
For me, yes. First is to deal with it, strengthen the internal, reorganize and strengthen the internal security architecture, strengthen and deal with the economy to have a robust economy. Like I said, if you have this, then of course you're going to work and seek support wherever you can get to deal with it. But you have to start with internal position, making sure it is robust enough to be able to engage even the outside help you're going to bring in.
So I want to follow up on that, because I hear strengthen the internal architecture, but the how is the conversation now. Many Nigerians are tired of hearing politicians say, I will. Now it's a conversation of how will you? So the issue of state police comes up. The issue of funding comes up as well.
What I always say people is that when it comes to issue of listening to politicians, it comes to issue of trust. There's people contesting, who among these do we trust in what he's saying? Nobody. I can give you to the minutest detail what I'm going to do with the issue of security. I've said it will be decisive and it will be immediate.
How?
That is where I will not tell you. If you're talking about issue of state police or issue of this, for me, there's no reason why we shouldn't even have local government police. There's nothing wrong in state police. Because for me, every state should be able to protect itself. Period. There's nothing wrong in that. It will not stop us from strengthening the national police. It will not whatever we can do to secure the country, I'll do it.
Whatever you can do to secure the country,
I'll do it. It is not negotiable, because it is imperative in your trying to attract investment. There's critical areas to attract investment. There's intangible assets of growing your GDP, security, rule of law. All these have to be in place. It's not negotiable at all. Whatever it takes to ensure that this too is there, that's it.
Now, looking at the economy, the president of Nigeria and the constitution gives the executive a lot of power. The president is seen as the one that controls the country and the direction in which it moves. Looking at the 36 states of Nigeria, there are quite a number of states that are not economically viable and they don't bring much to the table. If you emerge president of Nigeria, you'll be president without many states contributing.
There's more. So recent reports, I think about a month and a half ago, listed the fact that at least 30-something states in Nigeria received no FDI in the first quarter of the year.
Let me tell you, every state in Nigeria is viable. Nigeria is not a productive country.
How do you get them to untap that?
That's why I said we're going to move them from consumption to production. That's why I wanted you to call the states. You said Borno State. Borno State sits on 70.9 square kilometers of land. land, fertile, that can be used for anything. Even the Sambisa forest is about 60,000 square kilometers of land. And you say, they're poor. They're poor because we choose to make our states unproductive. Netherlands is 33,000 square kilometers of land minus water. Total food export, including winter last year, is $120 billion. Agriculture. So if Borno State decides to do 1% of what the land did, is $1.2 billion. At 600 is 720 billion naira, which is 5 times the budget of Borno State. It's just that we choose to make it unproductive. If they are productive, Borno State is 3 times the size of Israel. Israel is 22-point-something square kilometers of land. Borno State is 70.9 thousand square kilometers. And I can go state after state like that for you. If you want, it's because we have an unproductive thing where we have not decided to engage. We've been living this life of for handouts and everything and everybody. The greatest assets of the country is land, human being. The human infrastructure delivers 4 times what physical infrastructure can contribute. Nigeria is a huge country of 200 million people that are not productive. That's why we have high unemployment. That's why we have this and this and that. And that is what we're going to turn around.
Well, you will be working within the framework of the 1999 Constitution and its exigencies, its exclusive and non-exclusive list and all of that. How would you carry along governors and people that are not pulling their weight?
The Constitution might have its own problem. But that Constitution is not what is keeping us where we are today. It is bad leadership. Notwithstanding the Constitution, you can drag everybody along. You can drag everybody yelling and crying and say, listen, we're going to get this. We can still make the country productive. You don't necessarily need to. Anybody will tell you, how you go, why do we have economic council? Economic council in the Constitution says the state and the federal government will meet once a month to decide the economic future of the place. And the biggest assets of the country, I said, when I mentioned Burundi, is the vast uncultivated land we have in the north. With the human being that is there. We're just sharing the little money that's coming from diminishing asset called oil. Oil is the diminishing assets.
It's finite.
Huh?
It's finite.
So, how much do we generate from oil annually? Because I know I used some language, somebody said